Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Kurt Leavins. Welcome, Kurt.
Hello, David. How are you after that one?
A little, well, I was doing the game grade, so I'm a little harried. All the sports reporters in the press box, of course, like they're still, the deadlines are a little different now, but they're all rushing to get out first still. And
Yep.
because that's important in the world of eyeballs. And they just hate that when they don't hate the comeback necessarily. Like they want a good dramatic story more than anything else is what they're looking for. But to have to rewrite it all in the third period as everyone had their Oilers bad habits doing the Oilers again headlines written, and that's in the end what happened. But it was quite a dramatic and thrilling comeback in the game. I mean, it was one of those games, Kurt. Like it probably happens, like let's say 1 out of 5 games where I call my wife and son in from the rooms that they're in and say, "Okay, you got to come see this." Like they don't watch the games, but
hmm
the McDavid goal at the end, I just said, "You got to come see this. You got to come watch this. It's pretty incredible," and it was.
Yeah, you know what? The guys have the firepower to come back. I wish I could be more positive about the outcome tonight. Um, Frankly, I think they got more than they deserved, and I know we'll get into that as we go along in the podcast tonight. So,
The grade A shots in the game, mainly because of the third period, were 19 to 14 for the Oilers, with the subset of 5 alarm shots 7 to 6 for the Oilers. In the third period, the Oilers had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 to 2 for grade A shots in the
hmm,
third period. So that score effects was at play there.
yeah.
So yeah. All right, Kurt. Let's just get right at it. Two good things, two bad things, and two numbers. What is your good thing, Amundo?
Well, my good thing is the comeback, and we'll get into why a comeback was necessary in a minute or two. But the fact of the matter is, this team, I'd say they woke up with about 4 or 5 minutes left in the second period. I think that power play late in the second period got them rolling, and they played. With the exception of one play that I can think of, they played a really good third period. They were the better team for 20 minutes. Unfortunately for the Oilers in today's NHL, playing a 20-minute game isn't going to get you many W's, and it certainly didn't tonight. But nonetheless, the team put in a Herculean effort to tie it up, send it to overtime, and earn the extra point. The two stars that I want to pick out who were key to that rally, one was Connor McDavid, who scored the first and third goals. Man, that guy is some kind of player when he cranks it up and sets his jaw and said, I am going to will this team back, and practically did. And those two goals, folks, if you haven't seen the replays yet, go back and watch them because it is Connor at all of his powers. I heard someone suggest it was a lucky bounce on the 3-3. Watch the whole play. There's a lot of skill in there. Is there a wee bit of fortune? Okay, but I think you're selling them short. So I think McDavid in the comeback was terrific. And the other guy who I know you're going to talk about in a minute was Vasili Podkolzin, who scored the 3-2 goal. This team, when it's backed into a quarter, can be resilient and has the firepower to come back. Makes for exciting hockey. It means the Oilers are almost never out of a game. And it means that on nights like this, when they really played poorly for 40 minutes, they still have enough left in the tank to rescue a point out of a tire fire like that. So I'll give them full marks for coming back and putting that extra tick of a point in the standings. But we're going to have a discussion about how they got there.
Game had a familiar feel to it, didn't it, Kurt? Like
It
there's
did.
been a lot of games like this year, and a few of them they've been able to come back because of the incredible skill. But man, yeah, yeah. I love the third goal. Um, I just want to point out, McDavid. I listen. Luck plays in every goal where the puck bounces. Like it's the puck is round, the ice is slippery.
For both
Luck
teams. Yep.
always there. There was,
Yep.
on the first goal in the comeback, Ekholm probably didn't cross the red line on the play,
Hmm.
and they didn't call it icing. And that's a bad break for the Sabres. There was some bad breaks for the Oilers in this game too, due to officiating, I think.
Yep.
But there's just breaks going both ways all the time in hockey. And I could see the Sabres being very frustrated by that first goal, though, because I don't think Ekholm made it across the. Now, someone suggested, I think Louis DeBrusk suggested it might have hit Tuck as he was shooting it in. Maybe it did. Maybe it ticked off him. I don't know. I saw
Hmm.
the linesman kind of jumping because he thought it was going to go along the boards. He
Right.
was jumping up on the boards, and I just think if it was his call to make, if everyone
Hmm.
was expecting him to make the call, he was too busy jumping up in the air to make the right
Yeah.
call.
You know what I'll
Anyway,
say about that stuff is that I'm critical of a referee when I think there's been a poorly officiated game, no matter what the outcome. My
yeah,
official opinion is that NHL linesmen are really damn good at their jobs, and they don't miss much. And when they do miss much, as you can see by the replays, usually it's by quarter and half inches. I think NHL linesmen are awfully good at their jobs.
yeah. So I agree, Kurt. They're all really good. The refs are good too. I mean, they're the best refs in the world. And
Give or take.
Draisaitl made a great play on the winning goal, excuse me, the tying goal. First, the puck went deep into the Buffalo end, and he made a play where it looked like he was going to take the puck behind the net, but he saw Nuge out of the corner of his eye, and he just pushed it back to Nuge. And Nuge circled around and shot the puck on net. And yeah, it bounced around like it was. I think it was cleared a little bit by the Sabres, but they were desperate. And there was,
Mhm.
one of the Sabres goals came off a desperate Oilers clearance that went awry.
Yep.
So this is hockey. This is how it works. Put the puck on net and put pressure on net. And Draisaitl, after he passed that puck to Nuge, he went to the front of the net. He's more usually a perimeter shooter, but he went right to where the goals are scored, and he was in the white area, and the Sabres goalie Lyon got caught up in Draisaitl, and it was one of the reasons the goal was scored is because Leon was there and he locked skates with Lyon. It's not Leon's fault that Lyon got in his way, and it was the
Yep.
correct call not to have that goal called back. But it was like two really key plays by Draisaitl on that big goal.
I would say there was a third because he was on the entry as well, right? So,
Yeah, yeah, he's a fabulous attacking player. He was in on a team high 12 grade A shots, 12 out of 19. Leon Draisaitl's in the middle of them.
wow. What did you
My
grade him
big thing.
tonight? Just out of interest.
What did I give him? I gave him an 8.
Yeah, that's
I would
that's
have given
that's fair.
both he and McDavid 9s. I might even have given McDavid a 10 if he had scored. If he'd scored in overtime, he would have got a 10. But they both got bumped down for reasons which we will soon discuss. Um, in on a career high, I'm sure of this, 9 grade A shots was Vasili Podkolzin,
Mm.
who was making plays all night long. In the first period, he got a great up the middle of the ice breakout pass from Draisaitl. He broke in and then he set up Draisaitl for a good shot. Set up another good shot in the first period. Um, he was he on the 3-2 goal. He was just a bull in front of that net. There was no move in him. That guy is strong.
Mm.
He's whatever he is, 6'1", 200 and some pounds of muscle. Like there was no budging him, and he held his ground. He battled off the other guy ferociously, and jammed one shot on net off Draisaitl's outside shot, and then put in the rebound. It was a great goal, the 3-2 goal. And I expected the Oilers to come back after that and tie the game. It took a little longer than I thought it was going to
Mm.
take, but they eventually got it done. And he was absolutely critical on that goal as well.
He
As
was.
Nuge, as Nuge went in to shoot, circled around, I guess that's the right half wall, and cut in to shoot. Podkolzin had the stick knocked out of his hand, but he was battling like a Norse berserker in front of the net without his stick, flailing about, pushing away people, causing chaos in front of the goalie. it was a thing of hockey beauty, honestly. He has become a really, really good hockey player. And, he does have some warts, as many of the Oilers do, on defense. He's part of gang puck watch and over pursue the puck. He's part of that. There's that faction on the Oilers. He does that a little too much because he's super keen. He wants to
Mhm.
make every play. It's a good quality in some ways, and I think it's something that can be broken with players as they get
Yeah.
older and more
Kind of a
experienced.
nice problem to have, though.
Yeah,
It's
I think so. That kind of over aggressiveness.
yeah.
Um, they don't always break that habit, though. Anyway, he had maybe his best game as an Oiler, his best game as a professional hockey player. It was a complete, dominating power forward game from Vasili Podkolzin.
Well, as you say, scored the one goal, integral on the tying goal. Had three shots, three hits, plus two. One of their best 5-on-5 players on the night. His CF, according to Natural Stat Trick, 15-9, 63%. I think that was second or third on the team. And what I really like is the intensity with which this guy plays. There was a particular lack of intensity up and down the lineup over the first 35 minutes tonight. Podkolzin was one of very few players who I thought brought it over the full 60.
Ain't that the truth, Kurt? Let's get at it. Your bad thing.
My bad thing is the start. And I'm going to try to get through this without being angry. But I'll be honest,
Okay.
I'm kind of pissed off at them.
All right.
Um,
Be
you
angry,
know,
Kurt. Let it
yeah,
all out, man.
this has been the third season in a row where these guys have dragged their feet out of the gate. They just can't seem to handle success in the early going of the season. But they are who they are. Whatever. Finally, they seem to break out of it, and they have two breakout offensive games. And most people are going, oh, okay, these are the Oilers that we know. This is the team that we expected. And I think it's right to observe and say that, but I remember after that second game thinking in my head, let's see, because two games isn't a streak.
No.
And sure enough, they laid an egg over the first 35 minutes. Here's where I add in some context. Not only did they lay an egg against the worst damn team in the NHL, but they laid an egg against the worst damn team in the NHL who kicked their ass a few weeks ago. Like, didn't that sting? Didn't that hurt? Didn't that make you angry that you turned in that kind of performance against the Buffalo Sabres? Well, apparently not, because you did sweet bugger all about it over the first 35 minutes tonight. Like, that, this is enough, right? Do they just take these guys lightly? Don't give me this bull about, oh, they're coming in, they're pumped up to play the Oilers. Well, how be the Oilers be pumped up to play them for a change? Like
Up to win three in
yeah.
a row.
At some point, and I've never done this before, Dave, but at some point, you've got to look the leadership of this team in the eye and say, what the hell is going on? If you guys are the leadership group on this team, well, why can't you get your team to get their shit in gear against the worst team in the NHL? I
Keep
thought the
going, man.
Oilers were fortunate to come out of this game with a point. I thought the Sabres deserved both. Um, you know, Maybe after a successful, 45 games like the Oilers seem to do every season, we'll forget about tonight. But I don't know about you, Dave. I got a long memory, and this one bugged me, and it should bug them too. How'd I
So
do?
after the first period, Kurt, which was pretty, it was kind of back and forth a bitish. Like it wasn't horrible for the Oilers.
Yeah, but just no
Um,
juice, right?
no juice, but it wasn't horrible. Like they didn't necessarily deserve to be down 1-0 after the first. It could have been 0-0. Like was that the one? Oh, well, although the goal that the Buffalo did score was just terrible, passive penalty killing. Like, I don't know what Henrique, get out there and block that shot. Bouchard, get to the slot and take that guy's stick. Like, you're kind of cruising in the corner. Like, they're both asleep, kind of dozing around.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kurt, so after that first period where they're down 1-0, I thought, okay, they're going to come back in the second here and take over this game. Like, this is the moment, right? So I'm watching the second, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I actually expected, or I kept thinking, Knobloch should call a timeout and start throwing things on the ice. He should start like throwing sticks on the ice and ripping out his hair and rending his clothes and just blowing up at his players. And I thought maybe that would work. So he didn't do that because that's not Knobloch. He's never going to do that. And I'm okay with Chris Knobloch, who he is and how he coaches. But
Yep, me too.
I had that thought that maybe a different coach might do that. And then they scored that goal that was called back, kind of lucky called back. It was a good play. I think Tuck actually did intentionally direct the puck with his glove, personally.
Yeah, I thought it was right that it was called back. I thought they got the ultimate
right
call right.
But it was good luck on the Oilers there a little bit. And I thought, okay, this will wake them up. This will wake them up, right? But no. Bouchard then goes and makes his horrendous turnover at the side of the net to, of course, Tage Thompson, the Oiler killer, Tage Thompson. And then like 50 seconds later, they're on the penalty kill, and Lazar and Kulak manage to give away the puck in the slot. Between them, they failed to clear it. And then the puck, how many times have we seen this goal against Kurt, where the puck goes down low to a shooter, and Skinner is always transfixed by that guy. Instead of like, how many times have we seen like a Bobrovsky or a Vasilevsky flash out their damn stick and poke the puck off that guy's stick, and or get up close and smother it? Stu just hangs back in those moments, and we're starting to see, I think, teams go for that play against Stuart Skinner because it works. He's not aggressive enough on those plays, and it's costing the Oilers.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up, because I want to come back to Evan Bouchard, because I think the opposition is doing the same thing with Evan Bouchard on retrievals. I think the word is out. This guy doesn't go back with intensity. You can forecheck him and force him into a mistake.
Good point, Kurt. We'll get to that in a second, won't we? On a big consequential play, which is my bad thing, the overtime goal. And I want to start like a feeling of foreboding I had, because we've seen this before where the Oilers score a big goal right at the end to tie it. And I feel like the testosterone levels of players after they score a goal like that is like Mount Vesuvius in full eruption. It's just like it's screaming in their blood. They are so high. They are so hepped up. And I always think it might be good to sit those guys a shift, let them calm down, because they're going to be over aggressive on the 3-on-3. They're going to want to score so much that they're going to make mistakes. That I had that thought as they're getting ready for it, and I'm not even criticizing the coach, because who else are you going to put out? Like Nuge was also on the ice. Hyman was also on the ice. I mean, you could have, I guess, gone with Nuge and Hyman, and I think you would have got a more disciplined response in that moment. So anyway, I had a little bit of foreboding as I'm getting ready for the overtime, and then it happens. The puck goes to the Oilers' end, and Bouchard is out. He is slow getting back, and Tuck does go back, and he wins the puck. He gets that puck off Evan Bouchard. Buffalo has it. They retreat to the middle of the center ice, and so it's not a big deal. Like this, this is hockey. But they just. Ryan McLeod gets the puck and he starts swooping around in the offensive zone, and no one takes him. Draisaitl's closest to him, but maybe in theory it's not Draisaitl's man. Whose man is it? Is it Bouchard's man? Is it Draisaitl's man?
I think it's Bouchard's
Neither
man.
of them takes it. Bouchard's wandering in the red light zone. He is not. He's in the corner. He's essentially in the corner, not covering anyone, not covering a passing or shooting lane. Draisaitl does a flyby on McLeod. Maybe that's the right play, or maybe he should have drilled him into the boards. I don't know. Drilling him into the boards would have been okay too. But Bouchard really does nothing on the play. But even then, Kurt, there's no goal. There is no goal. except Connor McDavid does. He's on team I chase the puck, team I puck watch, the puck watching I chase the puck faction on the Oilers. He did this in the Stanley Cup final on some key goals against, and he's been doing it repeatedly this year. And again, it's that I want the puck. I'm going to get the puck. I'm going to change the game. I'm going to win the game. And Kevin Bieksa actually talked about this on 2-on-1s for defensemen the other night in a excellent description of what a defenseman's job is on the 2-on-1. You're coming in on the 2-on-1, and there's two forwards coming at you, and you have your stick out in front because you're trying to stop that pass. And Bieksa says there is such a temptation to take your stick and try to knock the puck off the shooter's stick, or to block the shot on net, reach over and block his shot on net, to make the hero play. There's such an urge to do that. And he says you have to resist that as hard as it is. Your job is to block the pass and to keep that stick out front. And this is the same thing on this kind of play. McDavid's job isn't to go take out Ryan McLeod. That's Evan Bouchard's job, maybe Leon Draisaitl's job. It is definitely not his job, but he beelines right towards him. And of course, McLeod just puts the puck past McDavid into the slot to McDavid's check. Alex Tuck, who is wide open, to score the goal. I have seen this play. Dozens of times with Connor McDavid, who, as great a player as he is, this is his one constant mistake that he makes repeatedly. He is like a mouse to cheese. He cannot resist doing that. I'm done.
Well, I think it's excellent analysis on the goal. I certainly think that you've got that nailed. And your theory about players being overexcited and not playing within themselves the next shift is interesting. I'd never thought of that before, but I'll think about it now. That's a pretty interesting take. And when you think about it, if you have the option of putting Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, and Ekholm on the ice, well, I don't feel bad about that at all. I know there's lots of people say, oh, no, you got to put your best players out there first shift. Do you? Not all teams do. I think generally you should do that, but in a case like this, to your point, where he scored with 1.9 seconds left, right? Like, his heart's still pumping 1,000 miles an hour when he goes out there for that overtime shift. So it's a pretty interesting point that you raise.
It's we saw it last year in a similar situation, and that's why it just reminded me of that moment. So, All right, let's move on, Kurt, to our numbers. What is your number?
My number is 3. 3. The Oilers have yet to win 3 games in a row this season.
Good number. It says it all, man. Like, this is why this team is where this team is.
Yep.
I have written a lot in recent weeks about the grade A shot differential and about how they're about even now. They had a bit of an edge. They're almost even at 500 for grade A shots, which is an improvement. They've been getting better over the last couple of weeks, but they're still not there. And they just got to win this game. They have to come out and win this game from the opening face-off.
Yeah.
And bring the intensity that they brought in the third period from the opening face-off. I understand it's hard to do, but like, they have no excuses. Like, they're not just back from a long road trip. It's not back-to-back on the road.
Yeah.
They're not particularly beat up. They're missing a few players, but like, everything should point to them winning this game.
Yeah, and like, aren't you embarrassed about getting your ass kicked by them last time? Like, didn't that sting? Didn't that stick with you? Like, it just mystifies me.
And their puck play had been picking up so good, so sharp, and then it just fell apart again. Like, turnovers and bad mistakes abounded. So, all right, my number is 1 million. Vasili Podkolzin, age 24, is being paid $1 million this year, which is a lot of money for a normal person. But these people aren't normal people. They are at the top of one of the steepest most treacherous and dangerous mountains that human beings can choose to climb. They have made it to the pinnacle of hockey. tens and tens of thousands of people try to reach that, and a few hundred make it. So I don't begrudge them the money that they make. The incredible interest in the game that there is. We love to see the heroics. So he is earning $1 million. That is incredible value right now for the Edmonton Oilers. What a trade! Stan Bowman gets hell. You know, he's getting a lot of hell, let's say, for the Trent Frederick contract right now. And Trent had another pretty uninspiring game, including a
Yep.
bad line change where he got in the way of Leon Draisaitl, who was trying to back check Tage Thompson, who went in and almost scored. So Bowman gets a lot of criticism. Well, that trade was highway robbery.
Yeah.
And Bob Stauffer has mentioned the fact that Vancouver didn't trade Artur Silovs to the Oilers this summer because they didn't want it to happen again. They didn't want to be haunted, and I think it's probably true. There could be some truth to that. I, you can't have that. Like the Vancouver Canucks, why would you give up on this player? Like he has become such. Since almost the day he arrived, he has been a solid power forward for the Edmonton Oilers. He hits, he makes plays, he back checks,
Yeah.
and it gets better. Not only did he sign him to the 2 year, or maybe he had this contract still actually when he came here. I can't recall whether Podkolzin had signed that contract in Vancouver, but Bowman gets credit for the trade, but then he also gets credit for the new contract, and it's 3 years at 2.95 million for a hard-nosed, aggressive, solid two-way second line winger, which is what we can say with confidence Vasili Podkolzin is. He and Draisaitl before tonight's game at even strength had outscored the opposition together on the ice 19 goals for to 7 against at 5-on-5. He signed for 3 years at $2.5 million. This is
Yeah.
going to be a bargain contract. Too bad it wasn't 4 years. I mean, they would have had to bump up the pay, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, but
Yeah, he's going to
a
score
little
20
longer.
goals, right? He's
He may well, right? And they're all coming at even strength right now. Like he's not in the power play, although he keeps playing like this, he might get his chance. So
well, he was
what
out
a
there at
player.
the end tonight, wasn't he?
Yeah. He is a
Deservedly so.
fantastic hockey player.
Yep. Easy to admire.
I guess there won't be a Team Russia at the Olympics, so he will not
No,
be
there
on
won't.
that. They're not
So
invited.
too bad.
You
Too bad
can't.
for him.
Yeah, too bad for him. All right. Kurt, final thoughts? Anything you'd like to add?
I want to throw in one other thing. Part of the problem tonight was on 3 and arguably on 4 occasions tonight. The Oilers took penalties when they were on the attack. 2 specifically by Zach Hyman and another one by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I think it's fair to argue that one or more of those calls were on the chintzy side. I would agree with that. But that doesn't change the fact that when you're trying to fight your way back into a game, but you keep taking offensive zone
Hmm.
penalties. Or the one interference call by Hyman wasn't technically in the offensive zone, but McDavid had a head of speed up. Just let him go through. Like don't feel you always have to play interference for him, right? Like it's God love you, Zach, but just get out of the way. Yeah. But you're kind of shooting yourself in your foot when you're taking penalties while you're on the attack. You can live with the minor penalty when you're defending because sometimes it's desperate measures, right? On offense, it's rarely acceptable and wasn't tonight.
Yeah, it was a weirdly officiated game. I already brought up, like the Oilers got some calls for them. One of the penalties on Hyman, his stick was loose and it hit the defenseman and he immediately grabbed it, put it under his arm and flopped on the ice.
Yeah.
That was the second of them. So there was it's a tough game to officiate and the players are very wily.
Yeah.
They're they are
I would
crafty.
agree it was a poorly officiated game tonight that didn't benefit either side.
I think it probably evened out in the end.
I think so.
Because that was a pretty precipitous non-call on the Ekholm icing. So,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Fair.
all right, Thursday they play again, and then on the
Detroit.
weekend, Detroit, another must-win game. They gotta win these games, Kurt. Thank goodness they got the loser point. I have to
Well,
say
I'd
that.
say they should be all mad and angry and prepare to go out and make good after that performance against Buffalo. But we thought that going into this game, so who knows which Oilers team will show up on Thursday.
Let's just take a quick look at the standings because it seems like that's appropriate.
We should still be in that wild card position with the point, right? I think.
Okay. Yes. 32 points in 30 games. Utah, 31 points in 31 games. San Jose, 31 points in 31 games. Chicago, 30 points in 29 games. Winnipeg, 29 points in 29 games. So this is actually the first time that, based on points percentage, the Oilers have been in a wild card spot.
Yeah.
And they're the first wild card team. Kurt, if this team though doesn't figure this kind of stuff out, they are going. It's a long. They're not going nowhere. But it is a long season, and this is a veteran team, and there's probably going to be, they are missing, let's say, their best winger, their second best winger, Jack Roslovic. I mean, Hyman's probably their best winger, Nugent Hopkins. But Roslovic is, and when he was, the way he was playing, he was incredible. I mean, he was great.
Yes, and when Roslovic's in, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is playing 3C, which makes your team better again. So it's not, Roslovic is almost 1 + 1 = 3 when he comes back into the lineup, right? Because of what it does to Nugent-Hopkins.
They really need to figure out a third line. And I think Adam Henrique is making valuable contributions. I think those contributions probably best made as 4C and penalty killing specialist. They need to carry the puck possession game to the third and fourth lines, at least the third line. Let's say the fourth line is a grinding, smart defensive line. They need that third line to make some plays. And I think the answer may lie, one of the answers may lie with Quinn Hudson in Bakersfield, who is an exceptionally smart hockey player. So if he has the grit and defensive smarts to play in the NHL, he can play the Oilers. He can play Oilers hockey. He can fit in and make plays with other really high skill players. So I think there's a good chance we'll see him and he could make a difference for the Oilers.
I like the player as well. I think there's a better chance that he stays in Bakersfield and instead the Oilers acquire an NHL level second, third line winger.
It'll either be that, Kurt, or a goalie, right? Like, so we don't know. I think there's a possibility they can make one big trade. And they've got that first round draft pick in 2027. They have no cap space to speak of.
As you know, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. They don't have any cap space now.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll discuss that another day about the cap space issue and how they might acquire that. Kurt, thanks for talking tonight.
It's a pleasure. I'm glad that the Wi-Fi in the Nanaimo Park Hotel held out for this tonight.
How's the weather in Nanaimo?
It was gorgeous blue sky today. There's an atmospheric river tonight. So welcome to the West Coast in December.
Thanks again, Kurt. And thanks everybody for listening. We have a lot of gratitude for the people who read and listen to the Cult of Hockey podcast. We have the sharpest, wisest, sanest fans in hockey, following the Cult of Hockey. We're Kurt Leavins and David Staples, you guys with the Cult of Hockey. And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.